sleeping when you're inspired and have energy to do things. We got these done. Been working all night and all day. Got these done, which are all the pieces for that side. And got these all prepped, ready to go. Which is good. But yeah, it doesn't look like I've achieved much. But the amount of work that goes into cutting, sanding, burning, sanding, burning, sanding again, refining, all of that stuff, routering the edges, making it all silky smooth. But these are smooth, they're like shiny and like literally like silky smooth, there's not a hair on them. They look amazing. A bit low light at the moment. So day is coming to an end. But yeah, I feel like you would have achieved more, but that is literally all I got done. All day cutting, sanding, routering, sanding. So I've got those to use, which will be here and up there. Don't know what I'm doing with the door yet. And then I'll build a wall there. And this, one of these two, don't know which yet, they're like gas indoor fireplaces with like fake logs in there. So they'll be pretty to look at, and hopefully that's like an easy way to out, like just turn the gas on and boom. Not sure if I'll use them yet, but that is the current idea. Or have like a out of a keg or something, build a little furnace and have a wood fire thing. And then you also got to collect and chop wood to make it work. So yeah, this is the daily office. All right, it's now day 5. It's time for some insulation. Oh, that's right. The first bits of insulation in. And I'm gonna put the cover thing back on it. This guy's up. I was gonna do it in one huge piece and keep like the rolls intact, but it was just like way too big a job. And this tape is excellent. So I'm just gonna do it piece at a time so I can manage, because I'm a one-person operation at the moment. Yeah, just do it like that, section at a time, especially because I'm not sure exactly how I'm gonna do the roof yet. It was just gonna be chaos trying to figure this out with insulation kind of hanging or braced with timbers and maneuvering and shit. So yeah, just doing it like that. Like this has all got a bit of give once the wood goes on, because I'm going to put all the wood over that, of course. So I haven't taped this side yet. I think I'll put all the wood on first and see where this ends up, and then tape that part afterwards. So for now it's all hanging on up there, but that tape does a fucking excellent job. Like, super sticky. And then yeah, just patching up all the little holes and stuff. And yeah, that's where we're at. I've pretty much cut all the timbers now for both sides. But yeah, pretty exciting milestone actually to start getting the inso up. And then hopefully I can start screwing these things on tonight. Be the nighttime job, I think. I'll get all these bits cut and figured out. Found it really easy to cut all that with a pair of scissors. Actually went through pretty easy, so yeah, wish me luck. All right. The old clips. Oop. A couple of those in for now. All right. That ain't never coming off again. Rip off some little bits. This tape's good because you don't need scissors. You can just tear it up. A few little pieces there to get us going. Alright, now the tricky part. Alright, I'm not sure which way I measured this. I'll find out in a second. Fits pretty good. maybe do it that way. And then this side, you can see it has a big overlap. So that'll overlap onto that one. And it'll be super sealed. Hence the reason why I thought it'd be good to just do it in sections. Actually, I don't think it really matters that much. As long as it's all sealed. So this is my method of attack. Put some bits on there. Ready to go. Yeah. Oop. That's where I want it. Cool. Alright, that's holding itself. That's a good start. Okay, perfecto. Actually, love this tape. It's so easy to use, very malleable. Even if you get it a little bit wrong and there's creases, it doesn't matter so much. You can just, it's really easy to use. Might trim the top of that one because it's going up a little bit too high. But that works so far. Give it a little bit of the love trim. Something like that. Perfect. That'll do the job. And then alright. There's my little how-to video. Yeah, I guess the next shots will be putting all the timber on here and filling it in, which is gonna look pretty good. Yeah. I was gonna pre-drill all my holes so I knew where things were, but actually I know that it's all the same on this side, so I should be able to do one and just copy it and stuff. It'll be fine. Alright. Okay, I'm just gonna cut around that somehow. Make that fit. I'm gonna do the silver stuff up to the door trim, and then when the door trim goes back on, it's all sealed up to behind the rubber. Pair of scissors for that. This part here, I'm just kind of winging it. Don't really have a template. because it doesn't have to be perfect, in my opinion. Snap apart, become a knife. Alright, back to scissor. I got lucky with the insulation here. Having that flap on the bottom means it can go down and then the flap can go over the floor, which seals everything real good. Perfect. Alright, well, this is what it looks like so far. And that's all that not so fun, tedious bit. Silver cabin. Well, I have a feeling like tonight's going to be a long night. Got my trusty lamp out. And yeah, we're starting to screw this in now that we've got our insulation backing. But this is a lot more challenging than I thought. As everything goes, oh, we'll just whack it in. But all these little fiddly bits and steps. So behind here, it's all taped on. And then down the bottom here, this is like an overlaying flap. Which you can see in the corner there. So I put glue down and put the flap down. So that's stuck to the floor. And then to get these pieces in was really tricky to start with, because one is like, where is it straight? And now that I don't have the lines of the van anymore to judge that from, it's very tricky. So I pretty much had to put them all in place. And put this top one on as a guide rail. And then I married it up to this guy and the one on the end here. And that, because I knew that those ones were straight. And these ones are not, so I'll have to drill them into the right position. I had them floating a little bit down there, but straight here. So that was really, really challenging just to figure out that. In a way, it shouldn't have been, but you know, just have to think a little bit. So now I presume that that is straight. I was able to pin in my first one down the bottom. And then with that, it could still tilt left and right. So I was able to move it a little bit to get that one straight. And now I'm just butting them up against each other to keep them straight. So hopefully that method worked and they are straight. But again, there's where the van metal is behind it, just behind this little screw, there's like a kink in the metal, and if the drill bit hits it, you snap the drill bit. So exactly where I want to screw is very close to that line. And I've snapped 2 drill bits already, and I'm only on the 3rd piece. Yeah, it could be a long night, but that gives you an idea of what we're going for. yeah, let's get going. So I got 2 drills. So I got one here with the drill bit in it. I got one there with my impact. And then these are the screws I'm using. They are self-tapping, but I'm pre-drilling everything anyway just to make sure they go into exactly where I want them to go into. Alright, wish me luck. Wow, okay, that took me so much longer than I thought it would. But we now have the first bits screwed in. There's a later job. That took me ages just to get that. The reason being is I had to pre-drill every single hole, but it's also like really critical to have this line straight. And so I had to pretty much hold that one there and balance it, because not only do they have to be straight, but also like that way, so these lines are good, and they all have to be like pressed into each other. And the only way I could really get this line straight was balancing it on this one, and the end one, and kind of holding that in place. And then each piece I'd have to kind of like pull this down and recheck it type thing. So yeah, it's kind of tricky, but we have a pretty decent straight line with some minor gappage. But yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. Guess you'll see all that bit. Yeah, a bit of a challenge, but challenge accepted. And we got there in the end. Although it did take me a lot longer than I expected. So I'll figure out the end ones here, tape all of that on, figure out my top pieces, but I just realized that out of all my top pieces, that one down the bottom there, I forgot to sand, or didn't get to sanding, because guess what? The sander decided to die today for no reason. So now I'm either going to have to do that one by hand if I want to install it tonight to be able to continue the rest of it. It's kind of waiting on that piece. So it might be a bit of a hand sandy job. Yeah. Which is balls. But totally cool. Can spend a bit of time on it. Well yeah, I'm going to switch to this side. Sanded. They're sitting on this table here somewhere. You can't see them against the light, but yeah, also not done. So back to the thinking drawing board. But probably just continue along here and at least do this bottom row, which I think I have all the pieces for ready to go. Get this last one in, tape up that edge, and then think about sanding that one piece by hand to make it fit, so I can do the other 3 that are ready to go. Otherwise, our project is at a standstill. So yeah, alright, wish me luck. As always, there's complications because nothing is ever as straightforward as it seems. So this side here, I was on a pretty good run, so I thought, got them all in, was like using this as a top piece to make sure they were all straight, which they seem like they are, and that looks amazing. And then, as soon as I got to about here and got like the 3rd one in on this side, I mean, it still kind of looks straight, but to make that whole thing to look straight, I had to compensate down here. As you can see, it's floating off the ground, and there it's touching. So a few things could be the issue, but it's hard to know for sure because one, either the ground, because this flooring may be a bit bowed or not flat there or whatever, and it may be the floor that's starting to actually go up or down, or it could just be that I didn't cut these straight, because some of them are a little bit on the piss, like this one. Kind of has the right side corner is just that tad higher. Can't really tell, but it is. So option 2, I bloody cut that a little bit on the piss. So I'm having to compensate. but it feels strange because here I've compensated a little bit more. So either what's happening now is it's all slowly going up, which means what I could end up with is this top board being too high on that side and the whole thing being on an angle like this, so to speak. But I'm not noticing because I'm doing it kind of one by one. So something's out, and it's a little bit annoying because that means I'm at a standstill until I figure it out. And there's not really a way of knowing what's going on here, whether it's the floor or my cuts or a mixture of both, until I like finish all of this and then put a top piece on. I won't really notice with just one top piece until they're all on, and then you're like, oh shit, the one at the top's way out. So I'm a bit stuck here. So I think instead of continuing this line, I'm just going to sit them here for now, take all of these top pieces, finish off that section, because then it'll give me a pretty damn good idea of, is that first bit straight, which I think it is, but we won't really know exactly until we get to the top with all those boards. Or alternatively, I could potentially get a measuring tape and measure from there to there, there to there, which I think I'll obviously do first, just see where it's at, and then check this side. But it just seems a little bit so roadblock, go and check me work before I continue to mess things up. Yeah, so might get a measuring tape to it to see what's going on there, which will probably tell me most of it. And I'm hoping just my cuts are a bit strange, and then I can fix up these boards. But that's annoying as hell too, because it means I gotta recut shit. But I have been putting long nights in and doing things while tired and trying to rush it a little bit, so I kind of had this idea in mind that this doesn't matter so much, because I can like exactly just compensate a little bit and raise it off the floor and get all the tops to line up. But right now I don't know to line the tops up to what, because there's no mark or there's no line. But originally when I cut them, I could see the lines of the van, and so it all made sense. But now with that there, I'm blind. So yeah, back to the drawing board to work things out a little bit, and I can't even continue doing these ones because the first piece that goes down is that one down there, and I haven't sanded it yet because the sander broke. So if I want to continue, I've got to sand that by hand, or wait for another day. Anyway, first things first, get the tape measure out and see where we're at. But so far so good. It's looking amazing. And it took me a lot longer than I thought too, to like tape up all the edges and make sure it's all watertight under there. And eventually I'll probably put a trim piece on the bottom so you won't see all the bottom screws or the gaps if there are any. And then I will probably end up repainting the whole floor to make sure it's sealed, and then put timbers down. And if there's water in between the timbers, it doesn't matter, because I'm going to park the van on an angle and open the back door, and that's like the cleaning, flushing it out rather than having a drain in here and all of that. That's my thoughts. And I'm yet to figure out where to put my vent, because I need to put a vent here and somewhere down the bottom, probably on the opposite side. So that'll be a bit of a challenge as well, but anyway, one step at a time. We'll figure it out, and we'll learn what not to do by doing. Alright, so guess what? Measuring tape tells me that my cuts are on the piss. Thing is straight, and I was compensating down the bottom here, and I've managed to keep it straight till about here, and then I realized these four bits, the top ends are on an angle. So I have 4 shitty cuts. So maybe I will just straighten those and resand, burn the tops, and save those bits instead of doing the whole thing again. Run out of energy tonight. So I think I might call it a day, because I can't run the saw when it's late where I am. And to be honest. I'm not sure if I'm got the energy to sand this whole bloody piece by hand. Let's see. Might be the last thing I do before we go inside because the fuck I'm freezing. Still don't know what I'm gonna do with the side door yet. Yeah, but it's all working out, so that's good. I can't tape that until it's all on because I don't know where that's gonna sit. So I'm really waiting on that, what I'm gonna do with that piece to continue with the rest. And all the bits for this side are here, but they need work. So never stand still tonight. Maybe time to go do some music or something and to get off the tools. Yeah. Just to recap, feeling pretty good about it, making progress, things are moving along. Things are taking longer than you would think, but I'm also being a bit of a fanatic perfectionist, making sure all the holes are the same. Oh yeah, that was another thing. Someone asked, like, how are you getting all these holes so straight? Is I don't think they're perfectly straight because I have just been eyeballing the whole thing. I mean, they're pretty close, to be honest. Oh, they're pretty close. But yeah, no, just eyeballing it, winging it. But I already have a bit of an idea in my brain of what the metal looks like behind, so where I'm aiming for and everything. That's it. And yeah, recap, pretty happy with progress so far. Feels like a huge milestone to have the insulation up, because I was umming and ahhing about how to do that for a while, like one whole piece. How do I do it by myself? Do I need to get someone to help me, or jam it up with sticks and then get covered in the crap? But yeah, it's a pretty big milestone to have the insulation in. My first line of wood in there took me a lot longer than I thought it would just to get that happening, but that is always the case. Everything takes so much longer than you think it will, and I've definitely been a bit of a perfectionist with the depth of all the holes, making it straight, sanding the timber, gluing all the bottoms and taping all the edges really well so no water can get into that, and taping all the little holes. Yeah, measure 5 times, cut once, even though I did mess up 4 of these boards, which I found out wasn't going perfectly straight as planned. It was a bit of a setback, but all in all, pretty happy with the progress so far. And yeah, someone did ask, like, how do I get all my holes so straight and in similar places, which they do actually look pretty straight. There's no trick, I've just been eyeballing it, and they've come up pretty good. Yeah, a bit of eyeballing, a bit of death staring and eye gazing with the holes. Yeah, but I have a pretty good idea of what it all looks like behind there, so I know where I'm aiming for in the metal to make sure they all hit. But yeah, that's it so far, bit of a recap, and yeah, stay tuned for more. Big love, as always, see you on the other side. Cut wood and chickens. Thanks for watching, see ya in the next video.